or real change will happen in the world for China. If only they can do that. China is built to put every mechanism in place to make sure that they provide opportunity for their young people. Liberia lack infrastructure altogether. Now, up to now in Liberia, do you know that there is no sufficient electricity in Liberia? That infrastructure is missing. We need to see China as a base. Let us adapt. Adaptation is very important, especially when it comes to development for our country. Let's use China as a model, and then we will achieve what we've been looking for years in terms of development. There are Liberians who come to China, for many reasons that we don't know individually, fall into visa issue, putting him to jail, detaining him, carrying him back to his country. Your police will not have challenge. Just tell us the secret. What is the secret? This is a question I would ask if I would see President Xi Jinping today. The people are very unique. They are very respectful. The way they do things is so unique to the extent that you can see uniqueness walking among them. For example, the police say, do not pass here at so and so time. It means do not pass there at that time. I have adapted to that style of life that you have to be strong, you have to work, you have to value what you do. For me, I'm not a Chinese, so I will not fully adapt to that style. If I try to integrate, maybe get a Chinese wife. There was something I want to talk about. You see, Liberians living in Liberia who come to China, they have one mindset. We want them to erase that mindset about their own Liberians that are here. It says that the Liberians are...
Welcome to Delicious Life and Travel. Kindly state your name for our beautiful explorers.
My name is T. MacArthur Abagos Pratt. I'm an IT business consultant and the Secretary General of the Liberian Guangzhou community here in China. Being an entrepreneur and a business consultant, especially ICT, I was driven by the open market system here in China because for many years back home in Liberia, I have read most of the different articles in technology. So I decided to move over to China and see how I can have that opportunity, get access to the technology market and see how I can expand my business back in Africa. That was the main reason why I moved to China, and especially Guangzhou is because Guangzhou is the economic hub that I've read many years back, so I choose Guangzhou as an option. Before I moved to China, I've already known that China is a country of technology. They are open. I just thought in my mind that I think it's the best place to be, and you can outsource your experience and you can outsource your mindset or your proposal to people who you think you can get help from and move to another stage, especially when you want to do business of the kind of business that I wanted to do, that I'm into. One of the most challenging part of being in another man's country, you have to be legitimate. You have to be legitimate in the terms of visa. Here in China is very straightforward. If you don't have a visa to stay in China, you have a problem. I mean, you either have to acquire a visa while in China, or you go back to your country and get a visa to stay in China. So that is one of the challenges that first hit my mind. The second thing is working with people with different culture, different language. So when you speak in English and somebody else is speaking Chinese and the two of you cannot relate, you cannot have a proficient exchange, it's a major challenge as well. But with technology, we were able to communicate around, we were able to exchange our voices through translators and things, so we found our way out. China is a very developed country, developed to the extent where the social environment is open and they are into businesses, they are into technology. But back home, it's not like that. When I get into the market of China and I see that I'm able to access tools that I need to be efficient in my consultancy job, it pays out. It helps a lot. You can have access to whatever you want to have access to, especially when it comes to the kind of job I do and the kind of person I am as an ICT consultant, business consultant. I need efficient internet access, which China itself provides for whether foreigners or its citizens a sufficient access to the internet, which is a very vital tool. It pays out a lot when it comes to me living in China. My life in China helped me open my developmental mindset more over than when I was just back home. In least developed nation like Liberia, LDC, that have many resources but don't have the mechanism to produce China is far, far, far different from that. We can access the market in China. We can use our resources back from our country, give it out as a leverage to China to have development in our country. So globally, China stands as one of the countries in the world that helps many, many, many other countries develop. Well, firstly, before I advise my fellow young people or business person or entrepreneurs to relocate to China, I would first want you to understand that you must understand the culture. You must know your mission for visiting China. You must know what do you want to achieve as a person, as a business person before coming to China. You must understand how the society works, what you will need to come to China. Because if you are a business person, if you're solely into business or entrepreneur and you want to expand your business scope, you want to enlarge in your cycle, I prefer you coming to China. Because within China, you can find all sorts of different businesses, different people doing different business from different countries. You can relate, you can partner with them, you can have access, whether you're rich or poor, China market is open. It gives you direct access to whatever you want to take back to your country or to expand your entrepreneurship and expand your business as an individual. So if you're a young person up there, open your mind, be positive about your mission to China or in any country, not just China, or maybe live in Liberia and want to come to any other country. You must have a purpose. So if you're a young person watching this video, I advise that you be strong in entrepreneurship. If you want to grow, you choose China as a source market so you can explore, you can make your business grow to the higher heights you want it to be. Let me give you a little historicity of how I got engaged with the community and how I became the Secretary General. When I came, I went looking out for the chairperson of the community because I've heard many people say they have a chairman, they have a community where a group of Liberians come together to help one another. So I went there and I met with him and I sat with the chairman, told him who I am, my mission. We had a very nice meeting. We laughed, we drank tea together. In 2-3 days, we had a very big meeting and Chairman decided that Liberians now need to come together because there are other young, brilliant people coming around with good plans to make sure we unite as Liberians outside of our country. With our expose, he was appointed. They nominated us in that meeting. So somebody nominated me as the secretary. MacArthur can be the secretary because he seems to be somebody who outspoken. He can write for the community. So let him be secretary. And I remember Delisha was also the vice chairperson, was nominated as the vice chairperson for the community. That's how we had that mini leadership. And our sole responsibility was to make sure we take our community to another stage, in a sense where they weren't organized in our mind when we said first, they weren't as organized. So with this mini leadership team, we can now have the community together, set up an organization that will run the affairs in terms of seeking the welfare of Liberians living in Guangzhou. So that's how we form part of it. But now looking at it from the standpoint where they were disorganized, we still struggle to have everybody together because this is a business community where business people come in and out, people leave, people come, students come, business people come, they are now static. But when you look at Guangzhou as a community in China, there are more Liberians than any other states in China. The business people, there are growing numbers of business people coming from Liberia, hitting into Guangzhou. We say, since it is like this, let us have a structure, let us put to paper, let us meet the requisite people to talk to. So in case when our people have problems, we can meet them together with unifying voices and solve these problems we have. As a community, we just want to get together to see how we can help our people who come from outside of Liberia. Like what Delisha will always do. She takes or advertise businesses, companies to you. You see it. You want to go there. You come and contact her. These are the basic things we were all pushing for to make sure we have it done among us Liberians. Then when we are together as Liberians, we can now relate to other African countries and see how we can expand our business territory so we harness back to our country. That was all the ideas of having us together in Guangzhou, establishing a strong business community that we can be able to give our advices and help our brothers and sisters who come to China to do business. Liberians here have now portrayed our culture to China to be distinct because we have now realized that we need to be more distinct in displaying our culture. That's what is driving us to have a community set up so that we can showcase who we are as Liberians, so we don't just be identified as just Africans. Even though we are Africans, but we are from Liberia. That part of it is very important, where we need to, for example, we have basic activity in our country. We have some holidays, the type of food we eat in our country. We have our historical events that we can have together as Liberians. So this is what we thought of, that if we get together, these are things we need to show off so that China can know that this activity is performed or is practiced by a certain group of people. And these people are from Africa, but yet they are Liberians because of our unique way of life, what we refer to as culture. But we have not displayed a unique culture. So we all have been identified as Africans, and until somebody asks you where you're from, before you say, I'm from Liberia, and they say, wait, Liberia, Liberia, and they start to call it the way they called it. And every year in China, from January to February, you get something called the Chinese New Year. It's a historical, continuous practice that they do. So we already know that this is Chinese. That culture is unique. It's displayed. They show it up everywhere. The way they dress, the things they do. But for Liberians, it's an individual person try to show off that he's from Liberia. One of the strongest things we need to recommend to our people is to always try to display who we are, how well we behave, what is our lifestyle, for us to show to our Chinese counterpart. So if you ask a Chinese person right now, you won't identify as because this person is dressed this way, so he's a Liberian. No. There are Liberians who come to China, for many reasons that we don't know individually, fall into visa issue, like your visa time expired. But now, because of the straightforward law in China, that if you have a visa expired, you have to pay for it. You get arrested by the police. People will have to find your ticket. You'll be sent back to your country. That is the law. We see it as a major challenge to us because sometimes when you come, you want to buy, maybe you ran out of cash or something happened to you, or your time expired and no way to get away around it, and you're afraid to go meet the immigrations. There are a lot of other things happening, especially in terms of business. The major part of it is language barrier. It's not easy going to the market alone if you cannot speak the Chinese, buying your goods. It's not easy. But on the other hand, Chinese have been helpful. You go to the markets to buy your goods. Chinese is helping you to get your goods sorted out, or you find a Liberian going to escort you to the market. Maybe he or she can speak Chinese and they take you to the market and you buy. So these are basic challenges you face in the market. Language barriers, your visa expired and you're worried about how you're going to get back to Liberia. If your visa expired, you don't want to face the immigration. These are all the basic challenges we face here as a community. I have talked to many other young Liberians, and you hear them say, there is no hustle in China. There is no hustle in China in our Liberian way. There is no way to get work in China. You cannot go to China and get a work. So we prefer going to other countries than to go to China. That is the mindset of people who do not see China as a land of opportunity. But on the other end, there are other young people who see China as a land of opportunity. They are the business-minded ones who think that, okay, because I'm doing camera business in my country, or I'm doing t-shirt business in my country, I think China is the best way to go. Or because I'm selling dresses in my country, China is the best way to go. So when you compare the two people making statements, I prefer to say that Liberians see as a land of opportunity. The only way that market can grow up to that level if they access the market here in China, and then they're able to produce, able to give back to Liberia. There are misconceptions about China. Like when you get to China, you meet a lot of different people. I think this happens to other countries as well. Like Liberians will say, the people, they don't like people. They are conservative. They love to be by themselves. They don't relate to you. Well, I just see it differently now. If you're doing business people will relate to you business-wise. If you're doing other things other than doing a business, you will encounter a lot of different people, different lifestyle, and you have your own personal experience with them. For me, I don't really see China as a place where people can immigrate easily, because the society alone wouldn't allow you to. You are a foreigner, and then you come into another country. There are a lot of procedures. Things happen. You can register a company, you can live there, you can do business. But if you come with a mindset that you want to come to China to migrate and maybe you integrate into the society and work as a Chinese working in his or her country, I don't see immigration possible in that light. But it's also possible from a different perspective, where you come and you immigrate to China and you're able to bear all the costs that will allow you to stay. Well, this is a big topic. From a layman perspective, I would tell you, if China would just like other countries, where you can have easy access to immigrant status, there will be a great change. A real change will happen in the world for China. If only they can do that. Because with all these visa challenges and things, it creates fears, But I also agree on the other end that because of security purposes, to keep that country safe. Because China is one of the safest countries in the world. So, and you can just get loose of just having anybody coming. You have to make sure. I think that's why you see they are very strong with that visa restriction, because you have to make sure that these things are in place. They make sure that people is not going to breach their laws. Because when you start giving us the leverage, the opportunity, sometimes some of us we can misuse opportunity. So the people look at it and say, hey, this is our law, it will remain our law. If you want to be part of it, you have to abide by our law. And we're not stopping you from being part of it, but this is what you need to do. They have their own idea of why they don't accept for not easily. Why there's some major steps you need to take before you can be. So when you pass through all of that requisites, it means they have you on the dot. They're able to track you, they're able to know where you are, what you do, and how you do what you do. So the system alone does not allow you to just migrate easily. So if they can maybe make it more flexible, there will be a great change in the world for China. Well, for China, infrastructure-wise, China is built to put every mechanism in place to make sure that they provide opportunity for their young people. Liberia lacks infrastructure altogether. Now, up to now in Liberia, do you know that there is no sufficient electricity in Liberia? That infrastructure is missing. We need to see China as a base. Let us adapt. We come to China, we look at what they do, how they do what they do, we recommend it back to our country, to our government, and put this thing into place. Because when these things are into place, you get young people on jobs, the market opens, people want to come to your country. Imagine you can go to Liberia in darkness. You leave China whole year, after 2-3 years, you're in electricity, you go to Liberia, you find it hard to get electricity. I think Liberia need to look at China as a way forward, so that they can have an infrastructure development which will create jobs for young people. Adaptation is very important, especially when it comes to development for our country. If we're looking out for any other country to adapt their style and what they do, let's look out for China. Let's use China as a model. And then we will achieve what we've been looking for years in terms of development. Now, I was having a conversation with some of my friends, and when I sat for long and I said, gentlemen, guess what? You know what I noticed about China? The people are very unique. They are very respectful. The way they do things is so unique to the extent that you can see uniqueness walking among them. If you say, okay, Chinese New Year is coming, as from this week to this week, everybody have to go to the interior to meet their families, to have a family time. Definitely is what they do. Everybody go, whether you run business or not. We suspend that activity. We go to the farm. We meet our people. We go to our families. We sit with them. We have that 2 weeks of lessons. Then we come back and start to do our business. Unique culture. For example, the police say, do not pass here at so and so time. It means do not pass there at that time. If the police, in fact, there are signs all over the place. Everybody have to respect that law. The culture is so unique. I admire it so much. If we can adapt to that style, it will help us a lot. Well, I stay trying to adapt Chinese values, but in my mind is a mental acceptance. Like I can safely say, yes, I've adapted to that style of life. That you have to be strong, you have to work, you have to value what you do. For me, I'm not a Chinese, so I will not fully adapt to that style. If I try to integrate, maybe get a Chinese wife, I have to do exactly what the Chinese do. But I'm a Liberian, so I remain as a Liberian, but copy the unique life they have and integrate it to my own culture and see how it fits, how it works for me. Then I recommend to other people to follow. The first time I entered China, when I reached at the airport at night, everywhere shines and the tall buildings, there are long towers. And I kept looking at them like, oh, wow, how did the people build this thing here? The first hit was the cold. I got cold and I drank coffee, drank hot water. I couldn't get the cold off my body. So I doubled up my clothes and I said, yeah. Now I know that I'm in a different land. So my first experience was the cold and looking at the long towers, all these kind of buildings, like a country boy just coming from up the interior, Western seeing all these things happening around. So I couldn't share with somebody, say, hey, why are you guys building this kind of tall building? I got to play Metro now. They don't look at me to be one village boy, That was my experience. Yeah, that was my experience. Well, now Guangzhou 1, the city is running. Imagine, since I came to Guangzhou, I can observe the time. I go to bed around 3 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock, there are people all over the street, people still selling things along the road. When you wake up 12 o'clock, you don't know when it's 7 o'clock you should wake up. So you look at 12 o'clock to be 7 o'clock, and the time confused me, and we just think that the time is running and you are getting older so quick. So Guangzhou is a very running city. Everybody moving. 2. Now, with all that running, yet their laws are still in place. The city remains lawful and they abide by every rule of the city. 3, sanitation is very key, because when you find a city where a lot of people are, there will be sanitation challenged, but yet they still mitigate that particular challenge and are so much get inspired by the way they respond to things quickly. So before it happens, they already know how to get it done. Because a populated city like this, we expect dirt. We're supposed to see it because a natural thing, just McDonald Street where people go and pick balls. You go there, you hold your nose for I don't know how many hours, and there don't even be 5,000 people. But yeah, you can get more than 5,000 people in one community. You still see that place still shining and still unique. It's still clean. It's a very good thing to see. Chow fan. Chow fan. This is chow fan. That rice, the fried rice, chow fan. I think it's my favorite because I think it's cheap. You can access chow fan quickly. You can go on the sidewalk and then take away, right? It's very nice. It has everything in it. So everything is integrated in chow fan. So I think chow fan is my favorite Chinese dish. Well, I will take the food. If I had the opportunity to integrate any of our lifestyle to China, I would advise that China consider the food. Our Liberian dishes, they are so unique. In Africa, I think one of the countries in Africa that have very nice dishes, the way we prepare our food is so different. Especially for me, from the Bazo trap. I don't like to call my trap to the public, but that's one of the things we need to learn. We need to state who we are. We need to actually let people identify who we are. Because sometimes we're afraid when somebody says, are you Bazo? I say no, because maybe there's some stigmatizing statement about Bazo. So you don't want to get connected with it, but I'm a Bazo man, so the domo, that real Bazo domo with the do. So if we can get that in Chinese system, look, even the Ghanaians, the Nigerians, any other national will get access to it. Though we will actually sell out. I would recommend other things, our cultural dances. You don't see it around. When you go outside of Liberia, if China wants to accept us as Liberians and accept our culture, we will introduce our cultural dances, the way our tradition is played. That would be one of the things I can recommend to you. But I think the most famous Chinese person in my mind for the governmental master would be the president of China. If I have the opportunity to meet that great man, it will be one of the greatest things that have ever happened to my life. And I will ask him questions about how do you manage that your people move in a direction you want them to move? What mechanism you use? What steps do you take? How can we adapt to that style? What do you think we can do as Africans? Not just Liberians, Africans, to adapt. One more help, because we have access all the helps. So what other things that is hidden that we need to do to make our country a better place? So you can have that challenge of having too many Africans come in, visa expire, putting him to jail, detaining him, carrying him back to his country. It's because I think if our country has this kind of opportunity that your country have today, Mr. President, your police will not have challenge. We will not come to have a friendly discussion. I want to do business with you. Send me this. So we all will have equal opportunity in the world. Just tell us the secret. What is the secret? This is a question I would ask if I would see President Xi Jinping today. You see, like I said, when we started this whole conversation and we joined the community, just to summarize, we joined the community, we have an agenda, because when you want to be part of something, there must be a reason why you want to be part of it. Now, one reason is because I'm a Liberian and I'm moved by how our people behave. What lifestyle do we have? How can we show of our talents? How can people identify us as Liberians? You can be a Liberian on your own, a single person, and wants to change the way Liberians behave. It wouldn't just work that way, but with collaboration, getting together with other people, Liberians who have the same mindset. With that group, we can expand. We can be able to share the ideas about how we want Liberia to be. So we join the community. Now, with that mindset is to see a large business community where we can have occasional activities, going back to our country, having a business forum, enlightening business people, small, medium business people, meeting up with partners, talking with government about how we want to expand our business community, how big we want it to be. We want to see Liberians doing more export, young business people doing more export. We need to just get together, find the right people who to talk to. How can we access China market to the fullest? How can we get those factories, those companies that are established in China to annex that operation back in our country? To get that thing done, it needs a unique structure, a coherent one that people can agree with one another. We get together, we bring our ideas, we go back to our country, we bring all the business young-minded people together, we have our occasion, we invite factories, we invite companies to come, and then they say to us, give us some business advice, and then they tell how to go, what to do, at what point in time we need to do what to do so that we can improve our business community. This will create a whole lot of opportunity and jobs for young people as well. Don't forget about us just sitting down as graduates. Maybe we think went to university, we don't have a job, we're hoping on government to come and give us jobs. We as Liberians ourselves can put ourselves together. We want to see a very big community growing up. There is something I want to talk about. You see, Liberians living in Liberia who come to China, they have one mindset about their own Liberians that are here. It says that the Liberians are cooking people. They boss in China. When you go there, they will go buy your goods, they carry the market, they cheat you, they lie to you. When they come, one of our friend will tell you, so you meet you on the airplane, but you go, and nobody is saying anything here. Don't forget, no Liberian border, they can steal from people. We want them to erase that mindset. You have the right to protect your goods or protect your finances when you come to China. It's important. You can tarnish another person's character, especially a person from Liberia and you are a Liberian. You can tarnish his or her character because you have an experience with one person. So you run everybody like that. Two, even though they have that mindset, I don't hold them responsible for that mindset. I hold us responsible for the mindset they have because the way we interact with people. If you want to help your fellow Liberians, first have integrity. Build high quality respect for yourself. Know what your help entails. If you need to get help back, be open. Tell the person, this is what I need if I help you to do this. You don't need to go to them and steal from them. You don't need to manipulate them to get that money because some of them come with a small, low capital. They cannot even afford them to get in what they want. Sometimes they don't understand what the market is. Some of our friends just go and explain to them the market and they just take the $5,000, then they come to China and hoping that they're going to carry a container load. We ourselves need to put ourselves in a place where, in a respectful position, not to steal from our fellow Liberians. If we can have that one word, you help me, I help you, instead of tarnishing one another repetition, that would be a very good thing for us to get together as Liberians here to help our community. So there are a lot of things we need to work on. In 2 years, we expect to be an open community, working with the Chinese. The Chinese identify us as people who wants to do business, who comes to do business, and they can trust us to do business. And people who wants to invest back home, they can have access to the factories and that strong bond to help us establish in our country. Yeah, in Guangzhou, if you want to have access to MacArthur, yeah, I got my Facebook page, Ambassador T. MacArthur Pratt. I've not changed it. And I have my Instagram as well. Instagram is just MacArthur Pratt 1. Right now, I'm sitting in the studio, locked down with Loveland Family, Digital Life and Travel, a very big platform where you can access almost everything. If you can get me on Facebook, if you can get me on Instagram, if you get access to Digital Life and Travel, if you can get Dilisha, you're going to get me. To summarize my experience here in China, I came to China with the mindset to meet businesses that I could match with my IT business consultancy because I personally have established printing business for many young businesses in Sierra Leone and Liberia. The reference are there. There are institutions I have built, recommending devices for them to use. These are all things that I've been doing. So coming to China, open up my consultancy business. Now I'm not just talking off my head of what printers I got to use, but now I'm looking at the devices themselves, testing them to make sure it works fine for the people I recommend those devices to. And I see almost all of the devices, the one I never knew about, the one I knew about, and all. So I'm able to recommend all of them That's given me a very good opportunity coming to China, being an IT business person. As I've seen different factories online or in person, I've gone to them. I attended the Canton Fair and I talk with businesses, so I know who you can contact for what you want to do. In Liberia, it would just be like, I go to Sierra Leone, I want to buy a t-shirt, well, the price is high, where can I get it? I don't know where to get it. But now in China, if I want to buy a t-shirt, it's a tip of a finger and I know where to go and get t-shirts. If I want to buy internet devices, I know where to go and get internet devices. I stay in my office and then get delivered to me as long as I buy them. So that summarizes my experience with China and how good is it for you as a business person to be in China to do business.